Hi, my name's Katie Skilton and welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I'm going to be sharing with you some makes using issue 240 of Simply Cards and Papercraft. So this is a beautiful magazine. It's packed full of inspiration, but each month it comes with a cover mount gift. So everything you see here comes with the magazine. So this is the magazine itself, and you can see you've got beautiful inspiration on how to use this cover mount gift inside the magazine. So it gives you lots of ideas on how it can be used. I am going to share a card with you today as well, just to give you a little idea of how to use it. While I'm here, I've just realised this is in this magazine. So there's also a lovely article in here about my latest launch of my Creative Life brand. So it's just giving you some little ideas on how to use that. I just thought I'd plug that while I'm here. Anyway, so that's the magazine itself. Now, it comes with this beautiful stamp set. It's an A4 stamp set, and it's got all these beautiful daffodil designs in here. So there's some really big focal points, there's sentiments, and there's lots of smaller images that you can use. It comes with this lovely embossing folder with this daffodil design. Now, it also comes with these papers. Now, what some of you might not know is my actual full-time job when I'm not doing this and the YouTube thing is I'm actually the cover mount manager at Practical Publishing. So I oversee all the design and put concepts together for all of these cover mounts. So lots of people were asking for physical papers rather than paper downloads, which we often supply. So as you can see in this cover mount, we do listen. And in this cover mount, you have lots of physical papers. So you've got lots of A4 papers here, really pretty designs, all daffodil themed, lovely spring colours, you know, and these are all ready to go when you get your gift home. So that's all of those. So let me move all of this out of the way, and I'm going to be sharing with you a Get Well Soon card today that I've made. So this has been made using cover mount gift. Now, I don't know if you can see there, but it's got that lovely embossed detail that I've used from the embossing folder. So let's kind of get making. So I've placed my stamps into my platform already, and I am just going to ink those up. So you can see that I've already inked them and used them once. So make sure we've got a nice impression there. That's lovely. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to use some clear embossing powder with these. So I'm just going to grab a scrap piece of paper here. I'm going to sprinkle my embossing powder over all of the images because I am going to use my distress inks to colour these. So I just find it easier because the water doesn't actually run. You've kind of got that barrier there. So let me just pop this back into the container before we make a terrible mess. And I will heat emboss the images. So I'm just going to grab my heat tool. So you can see now I have these lovely images and they're all embossed. So I'm just going to pop them to the side for a minute because what I want to do is add some ink to the embossed embossing folder panel. So I've already embossed this panel and it's got that beautiful embossing detail on it. Now I'm going to add some ink to that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to place that onto there, and then I'm going to kind of cover where I don't want the ink to go. So I'm just going to cover kind of the top because I want this to go into the frame and not around the edges. So I'm just going to kind of cover there and then get my Posca pen, and I'm just going to add some ink splats to my white card. That's better. So you can see now that has gone into the embossed image. Now I can allow that to dry while we colour in the stamps. So pop my scrap paper to the side and I'll pop that one over there. So to colour these, splattered my daffodils, but I'm going to cut those out anyway. To colour these, I am using mustard seed, pine needles and spiced pumpkin. Excuse the state of my distress inks. As you can see, they are rather well loved. So just taking a watercolour brush picking up that ink, and I'm just going to start to colour all the petals using that ink. And it gives you this lovely, bright, vibrant colour. So the cardstock I'm using, and this is a real game changer because it's really difficult to find a good cardstock that keeps the vibrancy of the inks. This is actually from Craft Stash. It's a Creative Craft Products cardstock, and I will pop a link to it in the description because it is a complete game changer when you're using watercolours, inks, or stamping. It's absolutely fabulous. So I'll pop a link to that in the description. So I'm just going around and colouring the petals. I'm not being too precise because I'm going to cut these out anyway. And then I'm just going to use some of the pumpkin to go into the centre. So you can see. So what I will do, I will carry on colouring and I will be back in a second. So as you can see, I've coloured all the images and I've cut them out. So I've just fussy cut them out. Now these are going to be placed around the embossing folder now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use 3D foam pads for this because I want to make it really kind of stand out, if you like. So I've got some larger ones and some smaller ones. So the larger ones I'm going to use on the daffodils, and the smaller one I'm going to use on my sentiment in a minute. So just make sure there's a few on there so you get kind of a nice stick and a nice 3D effect. So I'm going to use the pattern on the embossing folder and kind of follow it around. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to follow this pattern around the bottom with this lovely set that curves. And I'm just going to pop that on like so. This is such lovely spring-like designs. They're proper, it's kind of what we need, isn't it, now after a long winter. So this one I'm going to have, this is the large one, I'm going to have that facing down from the corner. And this one, I'm just going to pop kind of coming out from the edge. So then I've got my sentiment. So that one I will use some smaller 3D foam pads on because it's quite a thin strip. So I've added all the 3D foam pads onto the back there. I'm just going to tuck this one in so that it's kind of coming out from the daffodil. And you can see now there's ink splatters kind of surround it really nicely. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to layer this. So what I've done, I've pre-cut some of the patterned papers. So this is the green spotty one that's in the pack. And I'm just going to layer the embossed panel onto that. And it just pulls the colours together because in a minute I'm going to add some of this green patterned paper to the flowers. And then because we've got a little bit of black in this, I wanted to add a black layer as well. So obviously if you don't, you prefer them lighter, you can just stick it onto a white card. But for this one, I'm going to layer onto the black. So we've got that one there. Now finally, I have cut a couple of strips of pattern paper, and when I say strips, they are really, really thin strips. So these are just from the green paper again that we've used, and I'm just kind of going to wrap this around and just kind of give it a little bit of shape, because what I want to do, I'm going to trim a couple of these so that they come out of the daffodils. So I'm just going to cut, probably have 4 of them, and these are just going to be used almost as leaves. I just want to make sure they've got a nice little curl to them. And we'll do these coming out from the florals. So I'm just going to crisscross those over. That one's probably a bit long actually. Just give it a little bit of shape. And then add those on, and we'll just do that the other side as well. Popping out from that one, and crisscross them over. And there you have a pretty get well soon card. So very clean and simple, which obviously always is with me. But you can see those lovely daffodils there. They're really pretty, aren't they? So there's so much you can do in those with those stamp sets. Hopefully I might get around to doing a couple more inspiration videos with those while the magazine is still on sale. But this is, I say, this is from Simply Cards and Papercraft in 240. So pick up your copy and take a little look. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, please remember to like, and if you'd like to see more content, please remember to subscribe, because I have got lots more coming up, and I shall see you again very soon. Bye.